And so they're called Geonim, primarily in Babylon and Bavel, though not exclusively. What is the scope of their authority? And as you described, moving from the closure of the Talmud to the Sevarayim, what is their role in transmission of the Talmud and Halacha to the next generation?
Right. Great question. So, as heads of the yeshivos, the Geonim were the central halachic authorities to answer questions sent from the distant reaches of the Jewish world. And that was very important, not only in terms of the needs of the communities who would send them questions, but it was important for the centrality of the yeshiva. As long as people are sending questions, they see the yeshiva as important, and they fund it, quite frankly, so that when they sent questions to the yeshiva, they would also send a donation. It's very interesting. There's a classic debate between the Rambam and others, including the Tashbates, regarding funding people who are studying Torah. And the Tashbates takes the position that that people are supposed to be funding the study of Torah, and one of his bases for saying that is a letter which was sent to a Gaon, in which they also sent a donation. So he quoted that as a basis for it. So the Gaonim are answering halachic questions from communities. These communities are all around the Mediterranean. So across North Africa, whether you're talking about something that would be relatively close to them, let's say, the area of Egypt, or whether you're talking about as far west as Morocco. It would be along the northern coast of the Mediterranean as well. So, all the way to Spain and Portugal. They're sending questions to the Geonim. The Geonim taught Torah in the yeshiva, as well as in the surrounding community. At different times, Geonim had classes for local people from the community who were not part of the yeshiva. The questions they answered were sometimes about halacha, but they were sometimes also about machshava, about ideas, Jewish philosophy. Sometimes, as we'll see, their questions related to Jewish history. To a greater or lesser extent, the Geonim were also political leaders. And sometimes that created a problem because there was a position called the Reish Galusa, the exilarch, who was the official political leader. And there were issues with religious leadership and the Reish Galusa going back to the times of the Gemara. It's very interesting that the Navi Zechariah talks about the two sons of the oil, or sons of the olive, Shnei Bnei HaYitzhar, working together. And commentators say that refers to the political leadership and the religious leadership working together. Well, that was something that was a challenge during the period of the Geonim, so that the Gaon sometimes ended up being a political leader when there was disagreement between the Gaon and the Reish Galusa.